Hello, friends. So I've been looking for a new alarm clock for my bedroom. The one I was using, unfortunately, broke. And so my birthday's coming up soon, and one of my friends is a antique clock collector, and so he kindly offered to send me one of his clocks as a birthday present. He was asking me if I had any preferences, so I told him, no, I'm grateful for your kind gift, as long as it rings every morning, so I know when to get up for work, then I'm sure I'll love it. So he sent me this clock, and this morning it arrived, and, well, it wasn't really what I expected. It was definitely a clock, just not in the modern sense of the word. I guess it was my fault for not asking him what kind of clock he would be sending me, and in this case, he sent me an etymological one. That's right, what he sent me looked like a clocca, which is the Latin term used to denote what we today would call a bell. And, interestingly enough, that word is the likely ancestor of our modern word clock. You see, historically, clocks and bells were pretty closely associated, especially in the Middle Ages, when mechanical clocks were invented. That is, clocks that used a mechanism combining gears and weights called verge escapement. These clocks, which first emerged in the late 13th century, had a small bell that would ring at intervals, for example, to remind monks in a monastery when it was time for prayer. And what's interesting is that before the emergence of these clocks, timekeeping devices like sundials or water clocks, which didn't use bells, were called horloge in Old French, which itself was a compound of two Greek words, whose descendants we might recognize in many modern Romance languages today, such as Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian. And as for descendants of the Latin clocca in the English-speaking world, over time the term became associated with the mechanical clocks and the bells they rang every hour or so. Eventually, the Latin clocca became the Middle English clocke, and then later clock, which we of course use today to refer to any kind of timepiece, especially one that hangs on a wall or stands on a desk. But in many parts of Europe, descendants of that same Latin term still hold its original meaning, such as the German Glocke, the Dutch clock, and the French cloche. Oh, and one more thing. The word cloak also descends from that same Latin root, and got its name from the bell-like shape that it originally had. So that's all good to know. But yes, this friend who sent me this giant bell, well, apparently he didn't get the memo that the meaning of clock has changed over the centuries. I guess that's what I get for hanging out with other etymology enthusiasts, who sometimes want to play a joke on me, as I guess was the case this time. Well, joke's on him. This clock might not be able to tell time. Unlike me, though, my girlfriend is an early riser, so with a little help from her, it'll still help wake me up in the morning. Thanks for watching.